So yeah, hello and welcome. Today we will be doing our second session of CoPilot with Backbenchers. So today we have invited Daniel Brown, and Daniel is ex SharePoint expert and ex MVP. And Daniel now introduce himself. Yes, Daniel, please.
So thank you very much for having me on here. My name is Daniel Brown, and I am an old SharePoint person. I now, or have the past several years, run the Adelaide SharePoint user group, which now is the Adelaide Microsoft 365 user group. And this year we've also started up the Adelaide Microsoft Copilot user group as well.
Ah, fantastic. So you have renamed the group or it's a new group?
New group. So running two groups this year.
Cool. And what I remember that you used to run this SharePoint Saturday at Lead as well, right?
Yes, so I did that many years ago as well. I ran those events here in Adelaide as well.
So how about the how many people usually attend in those events like SharePoint Saturdays in back in
Uh,
Adelaide?
Back in Adelaide, back in the day, there was, I think, 60, 70 people that was coming along. It was quite a big community of SharePoint people, certainly in the days of SharePoint 2010, 2013, and certainly beyond that. And that sort of progressed now into the 365 sphere.
Fantastic. 60, 70 people are like too many people. Yeah, good amount of people. Yes,
Those are in-person events.
yeah.
Yeah. So that was back when we were doing SharePoint Saturdays in person in the city.
Yeah, Adnan, you attended that SharePoint Saturday Lahore as well, right?
Yeah,
Lahore.
Yeah, I think
Now,
so.
yeah.
I
So
attended.
so yeah. So basically, like there is an event, Daniel. So there's a city in Pakistan, Lahore. So there's a
Hmm.
SharePoint Saturday Lahore. So Adnan was there and he spoke in that event. Yes, what I remember, I think. Yeah. Yeah. So I think back in day, like in 2010, 2009, even like till 2013, 14, like there are so many people who used to attend SharePoint Saturdays, and there are like
Hmm.
so many people who are turned up, and then yeah, and then they can yeah. So yeah, you can yeah. So
I remember
let
that. I remember at that time people loved the SharePoint community at that time. Loved to go to SharePoint Saturdays, SPS, SharePoint.
Hmm.
It was, I think, SharePoint was the most loved community, on
yeah,
Microsoft
exactly.
platform.
Yeah,
That's right.
it
I
was a
used
great time.
even we
Yeah,
used to
even Jeff.
yeah.
I had a discussion with Jeff Tepper. We were just discussing things, and he mentioned that the SharePoint community is the best community on Microsoft platform, and they really help them to grow on different sites.
Exactly. That's my that's my
Where here.
yeah, that's what I think as well. Like yeah, SharePoint usually, and we used to me and Adnan, we used to like train back in 2009, 7, 2007 and 9, 10, right? SharePoint training. We used to do this SharePoint training, and like so many people usually turn up for those trainings. And it was quite good days. Yeah. So let me share my screen, and I'll ask one question to you, Daniel,
Hmm.
and I will check your some knowledge. Okay. So yeah. So I'll just so how can you see my screen?
Yes.
So how you rate this guy?
No idea. I've got no idea who it is.
No way. Okay. So we need to close this discussion then. Yeah. So this is Pat Cummins, right? Australian cricket captains.
Oh, yep. Yeah, I don't follow the
You
cricket,
don't
to be
follow
honest.
cricket. All right. Okay,
Nah,
so
fair enough.
let's just close this topic then. Then cricket, we won't go into the cricket anymore. Yeah, so that's a very all right. Okay. Anyway, yeah. I think me and Adnan we love cricket, but yeah, that's another case. Like you not following the cricket. Anyway, so yeah, so Daniel, yeah, if you want to like share your screen and start your session, yeah, that would be yeah, great.
Yep, no problem. Let me just do the thing. So is that gone? Yeah. Are you seeing my internet?
Yep.
Internet Explorer, geez, that's an old term. Click over to the right one. So I thought I'd just introduce CoPilot Studio,
Yep.
which is a existing product, but with a new coat of paint and a new engine as well. People may remember it as the VirtualBot design studio, essentially. And with the introduction of CoPilot, virtual bots, virtual agents really made sense to be sort of rolled into that family. So I thought we'd sort of dive in and just create a quick bot. I mean, it's nothing fancy, don't get me wrong. But in a few clicks, we can have something that's relatively helpful, and it certainly demonstrates the process. So what I'll do is I'll cancel that and I'll go back. So CoPilot Studio. So here I've got my copilots in my environments, different plugins, different prompts, and the admin center here on the left. A lot of this sort of stuff is still in preview, so bear that in mind. Sometimes it does take a moment or two, but we'll see how we go tonight, and hopefully everything smiles on us and is happy with us. So we'll give it a proper name, Daniel's Copilot. And I want to point out this next part where we've got different languages for bots, or copilots now, as they're called. These are all the native ones if you want to create copilots in these languages as well. And we can add them as well as later. Now, the part that I do want to really focus on is this generative AI part. So this is where we can sort of point to a website. And here's one I loaded before, Lego. And we put that in there. And essentially, this will consume the content of the website and allow the AI to go into it, dive into it, and grab all the information into it.
Yep.
So we'll give it a few moments to do that. But while it's creating it's creating the connections, going off, generating the model, looking at the website, having some caffeine, and off it goes, doing its thing. Yeah, hopefully it doesn't take too much longer.
I think, yeah, just be there. So, yeah, meanwhile, it's just loading up. So have you used like a virtual agent before? And what is the difference, if you can say, like very generic difference between these two?
Virtual agents essentially were topics and subjects. Now you've got these in copilots as well, but this is where you would very much. Let me just skip over this this welcome screen. We've got this topics. Old school topics, where we can create a topic, and we can use CoPilot to create topics as well. So we'll use that. So we'll give it a name, test topic. And what do we want the test topic to do? We want to say, let's the user check for the status of flights. And using the power of CoPilot, it has gone off and created this
topic
conversation tree. Yeah, this topic. Sorry. And if we just cross it off once it moves over. It's gone and created.
So it's a kind. So what is the so how it is being pitching? It's pitching as a replacement of
not so much a replacement. It's more an elevation. So you've still got the power. Yeah. So you've got the power of the topics and the subjects in there, and now you've also then got the generative AI component as well. And that's where they've now become copilots, and they've got various plugins, actions which are relatively new. I think they come out only last week, and you've got this certainly on the side here, extend with CoPilot. So it's not really a replacement; it's more of an elevation and then an inclusion into the CoPilot family.
Oh, fantastic! All right. Yep. 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 I just want. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's a good distinction to ask because how is it different?
Yeah. Exactly.
And essentially, think of the bots as if this topic, do that. If this topic, do that. If else, essentially, with a little bit
And
more in there. But with copilots, they've got
mm,
the AI, the generative component in there.
and how about, like, let's suppose that if someone has already got this virtual agent up and running and it's been deployed on different sites and different places, so it's just kind of the rename of the name, and then those stuff
hmm
will carries on.
Correct. There should be minimal interruption, if any. It's really,
Yep.
like I said, just an elevation. There will be
Mm,
some parts that are deprecated.
yep.
It's sort of the old stuff that really no one uses these days.
Mm,
So it's always worth just double checking. But yes, they should just carry on as per usual.
yep. Yep. Yep.
And so we've gone into there. Let me just go back into, whoops, let's leave that one there. Let me just go back into Daniel's Copilot. So we've pointed
Yep.
at lego.com.au.
Yes.
And that's all we've done. Now, I do need to do one tricky, sneaky thing, and that's turn
Yep.
on one setting. So there's our
Yep.
website that we've pointed it to. We can have
Mm,
up to several websites there to consume
mm,
from. But I need to scroll down, and I just need to turn on this dynamic chaining with generative actions. We turn that on.
yep.
And that allegedly allows us to input, output various results and conversations through the plugins, and it will allow us to interact. But now that we've
That's very
consumed that,
interesting.
it's very cool. It's only just brand new. It's not an old feature. But now that we've consumed Lego, and I go, is there any Lego Pac-Man sets? And without doing anything else, it's gone through the website, found them, and also giving us our reasoning as well. Well, there's our links. Oh, don't leave on that one. And there's bits. I don't know why I was doing that for, because I'm clicking on it. But yes, it's gone through the Lego website, through the model, and has been able to use the that content to return information to the user. Now, with the extended version, I mean, you could do this with virtual bots in the past, but it's a lot of more work. Where with these ones, you just go off, get the generative AI to go over and generate those responses. Now, another one that's relatively new, I'll change the domain, so yeah, save. Forgot to save it. Now we go to our tools and plugins.
Mhm.
Plugin actions. Yet again, another preview that has relatively just come out. So we want to create a new plugin action. And this will allow the generative AI component to go through and interact and pass through that information through that chaining. So I've selected just get the weather today as
Yep.
a bit of an example to demonstrate it. And instead of creating the connections, and we can
Mhm.
change bits and pieces through this.
Yep.
We want to edit the connection and also give it some different settings. But some real cool things is if we go edit on the inputs, we can actually sort of start to define what units do we want. So it's always going to be in Celsius or Fahrenheit or
Mm.
imperial or metric, so it doesn't have to prompt the user.
Okay.
We can hard set locations as well, or we can use the user response. So I'll just leave it as default. I'll just go
Yep.
cancel. Oh, sorry, don't leave. You go save.
Uh,
And likewise with the outputs and units, we can define all of that. And this
yep.
chaining, this plugin can be accessed dynamically, chaining, creating generative actions and dialogue. So using that generative AI to
Mhm.
interact with what the user inputs and what it also delivers.
Mhm.
Now, there's one gotcha with this is I need about 2 minutes for the system to deploy and connect up everything. So in that time,
Yep.
essentially what it's now doing is going through, pushing out those changes and allowing that to happen. So need about a minute or two to do that. And what it will allow us to do will then use our generative AI to go in when we ask the weather. It will then come up and say, well, will the weather where and what sort of do you want to have the unit in?
Okay, so like my question over here that can it club the information from the website lego.com and the weather information whichever getting from the MSN weather and present in the one format like as part of one output? Can it do that?
I'm not too sure. I haven't tried, to be honest, but
Yep.
we'll do it. We'll give it a moment or something, and
Yep.
we'll definitely see if we can do that.
Yep.
Chain that sort of input and output together, and come back with a response.
Mm-hmm.
What sort of prompt would you recommend for that?
I'm just saying like yeah, I'm trying to ask like think that what kind of prompt can I ask? Was the weather in Legoland kind of?
Let me just give it a refresh just to see how we go in there.
And as you've been working into different for different companies and doing the projects, so how is the response for the virtual agent in those companies? Like, is been like welcoming or they are like kind of very restrictive? And they try to like evaluate the virtual agent itself.
They're open to it. A lot of places are certainly open to using it. Demonstrations are always a great point to show these off. To be able to sort of consume data really quickly and to have it sort of use it really quickly to get information out. Once they see that, they're like, yeah, I think we need to get some of these going. Until that point, they're like, well, we don't need these chatbots.
Yep.
That's the perception of them, that they're chatbots. And while they kind of are, in my opinion, they're much more. I mean, from here, we now can trigger Power Automates, we can update Excel spreadsheets, we can interact with different systems. So it's much more than a chatbot. Yes, it's chat. And I mean, going up through, sort of the 1990s and early 2000s, everyone was on chat. It's something that we always got in trouble for. And I think that sort of persisted over, get off chat. You're not meant to be on chat. And now it's very much a part of day-to-day life. We can chat to the co-pilots, chat to GPT, chat to Sora, and actually have that productivity boost, productivity increase, and really cool interaction. It's not.
I think even Adnan will agree with me that's with the all those application which comes under the Power platform, Power Virtual Agent unfortunately least talked about. Like Power App, you will see too many things in Power S, Power BI, Power Automate as well. But for the Power Virtual Agent, it just for me, as I see, like it's quite slow on those stack of the application.
Actually, I just want to add a point here with the Power. I will say CoPilot or Power Virtual Agent in past. We have associated with under the Power platform, but it's much more than that because you can connect with your business processes because this is a single platform of entry and you can within topics you can create different topics. It's just like a smart I would say support you can call it a support system. It will be answering all your connects which leading to different forms, different applications which you need to submit for like employee onboarding process. You can just create the onboarding process with this one.
What I think even for the organization, like I think like the main question is like, are the organizations are ready for the Power Virtual Agent? See, Power Apps is like creating the form. Power Automate is just getting those workflows.
They will, but there is a constant of pricing here. which is the key here, because I know
Mm.
how to use it, but the customers are not willing to pay extra for this one,
Yeah,
because that's
I agree
that's
with
a
that.
crucial area.
Yeah,
Mm.
the pricing is probably the blocking point for virtual agents or co-pilots. People are vastly interested in it, and we start to price it up, and they're like, we could probably justify it for a while, but unless it's constantly maintained, constantly updated, constantly reviewed, constantly price spec'd, it's
Mm.
always going to be fighting that battle in the budget.
Agree.
Mm.
And the same thing goes with the Copilot, because organizations are still thinking that is it worth it or not to pay that much extra or buy only a few account for the Copilot. And I remember the same thing happened with the form builders. Companies are not actively using the form builders. The same goes with the Power Virtual Agents, because costing is a key area in this one.
No, I agree. I think the pricing definitely plays a factor, and the way to sort of overcome that is, like you said, this is part of your business processes. So it can replace certain aspects and actions within Outlook. I don't need to have these emails come through. I can now start to do it through Teams. I can have that history come through. I can use natural language as well, which can be challenging for some people, but other people pick it up straight away. They're not necessarily IT experts as well. They know what they're looking for, but they don't know how to click on the right thing or point to the right location because they're not sure if it's on the T drive or the O drive or the X drive or which document library it's in or where it is. They just want that information, that fragment of information out of that one document, and then to then be able to launch into other things. So, for example, now, launch Power Automates or trigger webhooks, call APIs, start to, like, for example, ask an outlet store, how many chickens did it sell in this particular day? And here it says it says 6. But if you want to see the sales report, here's the link, and there's the link for it. So you've got those options where you can just get the information that you need or the information that you want, and then take that one step further to get that extra detail that you actually want to dive into, should you want to do it. Because I mean, this is a old SharePoint topic in this sense, is searching for information is often the hardest part of SharePoint. And that's a component that these co-pilots can now alleviate that pain on.
Adnan, can you check one thing? Can you see like on the LinkedIn? Can you see like the audio's like audible or not on the LinkedIn? Can you check it?
Let me verify.
Because I just got a message that audio's not like they can't hear it.
We'll do that. We'll go.
Yeah, you can like. Meanwhile, you can check Daniel like it has been loaded or not. Yeah.
Yep.
I have.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, the audio is working, I think.
From my end, yeah, I think when I'm just, I can see like the audio mixer and audio going on. Not sure like why. I mean, audio's working, right? Adnan, can you hear the audio on the LinkedIn?
Let me check. And just mute yourself. I just need to verify that if it's coming from your end or my end. Yeah, it's working.
It's working. Cool.
Yeah.
All right, that's good. All right. Okay. So
One thing,
now,
okay, I just want to add one more point here from the like Microsoft is pushing these changes quite fast.
yes,
Like Copilot stuff
I
is
agree.
here. And recently I was working with a customer, and they still having SharePoint 2010 because the businesses are not interested to move that fast. They are
Yes.
more focused on the businesses, and they are not, because what happened is, there is a SharePoint site which have the old master pages applied on it, and they are not willing to move to SharePoint Online because the user experience will get changed, and that will take impact. That will have impact on their employees, and they are not willing to move it. even they said that if you can make the similar page on normal website, we're okay with it. We can move the content, but the front end would be like this one. So these are the changes that and those are not small businesses. I have seen this with Fortune 500 companies, because we are telling them that we can't do that customization, and that's
Us-
not the good enough. Even they, the IT people will agree. You are right. We need to move on to it on one day. But right now we can't take the decision because the top leadership is not willing to invest on this side because it will impact the business, and they can't take that risk for now.
so
So
they are
this is
upgrading. So they are upgrading the online, like, sorry, on-prem from 2010 to 2013, 2016,
Mm-hmm.
2019. That's how they are going, right?
yeah, and even they are not willing to pay much on the services side. They are okay with the existing services because they are more focused on their core business. And
Hmm.
yes, if we talk about the modern businesses like e-commerce stores or the new businesses which are coming up, like I will just take an example of Uber, or Airbnb. These are the areas which are more technology focused, and they are moving on these platforms much faster than the other ones because they are totally, their businesses are totally platform focused. Because technology focused, they are
Hmm.
so they need to adopt everything, but not if you ask a car company, Toyota, to move to the ship and we have a co-pilot who will do everything, they will just laugh on us. Okay, so what? We
Hmm.
need the mechanical stuff.
Yeah,
So
like they have
we
to,
still have the challenge.
even like they haven't been on this online, so like there's a kind of, so there's it's a pitch on the another level, right? First you have to online,
Yeah.
then co-pilot. Yeah, so it's, yeah, I think, yeah, I mean, like, it's, I think
Even
that
you will
they
see,
would be very rare. It's very, like, very few companies which are still on the like the on-prem, no?
not no, not few, many companies are still on premise, because I have been working with US market for past 11 years now.
Mm.
And we still doing the on-prem migrations. Yes, tenant migrations are also getting very fast because the companies are acquiring other companies, and they have also. So we are doing the tenant to tenant migrations, but the on-prem migrations are on-prem to. We are still doing on-prem to on-prem migrations, and even we get the
On-prem to
queries.
on-prem.
Yeah, and we also got the queries to resolve the issue on the 2013 form.
Man, your business
And
is booming. You just be on the
no,
on-prem.
actually, we are not getting the business
Just
on this scenario. We are not getting the business. And what one more thing is happening with the new migration tools, which are very
mm,
easy to use. The companies are not coming to the vendors. They only
they
come to
can
the
do
vendor
they can do by
because when
themselves.
they actually when they get stuck at some place, then they reach out to us. So these are also the challenges which I have
But
seen
they are
recently.
not,
That
but as what I get from your, what you're explaining, so they are not expanding the shape on itself, right? So they are limited to the content they have, or they are expanding
That's their
the
focus.
content
actually,
itself.
yeah, it depending on the company to company. So the companies which are not more technology focused, they are not moving on it easily. So we need to pitch them. We need to tell them that it's this can impact your productivity.
So
Then they
how
will
about,
think.
okay, so how about those, like the application, like this Nintex workflows or K2 workflows? So if they were using it on the on-prem, so they are keeping it like for the new versions of the SharePoint, like even on the on-prem, like 2016, 2019, how they're going with this.
Actually, recently I have seen the in past 2 years, I haven't seen any of the customer using Nintex or any third-party workflows. If they have the workflows, those are the outside SharePoint,
Mm,
like they are proper BPM solutions. Either they are
mm.
using or they are using a Power Platform.
And what is happening with this SharePoint workflow? Because what I have read, read that it's being like discontinued from the 2026, like it just stopped working.
Actually, 2010 are also because Microsoft has stopped the support for those workflows,
Yeah,
and I haven't heard the
even
exact
this
deadline.
I think
But they will
even for the
stop it.
2013 as well, like the whole workflow engine from the SharePoint, it
Mm.
will be like discontinued from
The Power
2026.
Platform is also available on-premise.
Yes.
So,
Mm-hmm.
so that's why they are moving because giving support to the old tool also getting very, very. I would say Microsoft is also facing challenges on those ones because the resources are not available for them
Mm,
also because of
mm.
the old technology, and they want to just get rid of those now because otherwise they can't move to the new options uh, because the Power Automate or then all the new platforms are more extendable. Easily you can embed it with other solutions
All
as
right.
compared to the old
Yes.
ones.
Yes. So, how about Daniel? Are you like ready with the rest of the demo?
It should be, I think. Let me just double check.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, let us know that I think we can just continue just chatting on this one. So like yeah, I think what we did yeah last week, Adnan, like the GitHub Copilot GitHub, it is like I think that's the main selling point of the Copilot, which I think which like kind of matured in
For
itself.
us, that's for
For us,
us, which we see.
yes,
Because why
yeah,
we saying that? Because we are on the programming side and we need to
mm,
generate those scripts. But for the HR, marketing,
mm,
Microsoft 365 Copilot is the key. The way
mm,
it generates the documents, the information it puts in the documents,
Yeah.
and even if you have a company, you have a proposal,
mm,
or you have a meeting minutes and some information or work breakdown structure for the task, it
mm,
will generate and populate all the information into a single document
Mm-hmm.
mm.
on the fingertips. So that's very helpful. But it depends on the business nature. For me, I like everything.
Yeah. All right. Yes. Okay.
And
So
here we
there's
are.
yeah, the demo is work. So what is
Yep.
the location you would like to get the forecast for today, Adelaide? Yes. And then you can, yeah, whatever
Put
you
in your
want,
metric.
metric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now we could have auto supplied that, of course, and
Oh,
there we go.
fantastic.
So that's
Very
gone off.
cool.
Got to MSN weather for Adelaide using our
Oh,
responses.
wow. That's
And can
very
we also
cool.
use the adaptive card? I think we can also use adaptive cards in the response. Uh,
What? Sorry.
Ad- Adaptive cards. I think we need to implement it, no?
yeah, we can
Adaptive.
use it on the message box.
Yes. Okay. More info. Yeah. Fantastic. And then can
Mm,
you ask that what will be the weather in next 15 days?
it will be answering.
Might not do 15. I'll do. We'll
Yeah,
see.
like even a week.
I think it's fetching the information of the present information.
Yeah, correct. The actual weather that we've got is get the forecast for today.
Yeah, I can provide the yes, yeah, for the
Yeah.
today. Yes, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because
So it's
because
limited to today.
yeah, because weather applications have the predictive weather information from the future also, but that's because that is not published, so it can't fetch
Yeah.
the information which is not
Yeah,
published.
but I think like the whole like the language it's presenting, it's quite good. Like the whole like the sentence and
Yeah.
everything, it's quite good. Yeah, it's just not
It's
like
Even the
relatively
generative
good.
AI,
it's not a Bing search. It's not a like the Google search. Just it's just putting the content straight from
yeah,
the
that
source. It's just making the translate, just making it more a good to read.
Yeah.
And yeah,
yeah, it's
that's
a human friendly. That's why they are using the AI service, generative AI,
yes,
which
yes.
converts the
Yeah.
information to readable text.
Which is
So,
good. I mean, it like you said, it's come through quite nice. But
yeah,
here's some of the
exactly.
other ones that we can add as well.
Have you tried
Um,
any other one? Yeah.
I've been playing with the Power Automate stuff, but
Okay.
yeah, not ready.
Okay.
Because
No worries. No worries. No. I
I'd
think
really like to get this to be able to do
no, but
some cool
no. I
stuff
think
with Power Automate.
we got the guess. I think we got the idea that art is book. So like my question, from you. That what is the kind of when we are asking a question, so it goes to the this Microsoft Weather and then goes to the generative AI, or the generative AI then go to the Microsoft Weather. Then how is the whole cycle? What you
It's
think?
both.
Like both, back and forth, kind of.
Yeah, so it will take your input
Yeah.
and capture the input, send that off to the actual plugin itself. We're using the connector,
The
and then
Microsoft
that
one, yeah.
response. Yeah, correct.
Yep.
And then that response that comes back will then be used through the Gen AI to give that sort of generative AI response. So it's sort of a mini one in front of it, but it's not really.
Yep.
Don't think of it as a Gen AI in front of it. It's more of just that connector connecting those input terms, which is old school virtual agent or virtual bot trick with the subject and the topics, and then takes that and passes that through the connector to the Gen AI.
Gen AI, yes, yes.
Yeah.
And then it's just transform and then put into the more good language and then present to the user. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. That's yeah. You are on mute, Adnan. We can't hear you.
Okay, I just shared an image on chat. If you can see, this is the architecture of how Copilot is working, and
Yep.
this
Let
will
me
be
just
also for
open
the.
it.
So
Let me just
yeah.
just okay. Yep. Yep. I can, yeah, and Adnan, you can carry on. Yes.
So if you can share this image.
I've
See if
opened
I
the
can.
image.
Here we go. I think I've got it. I've got it.
Yeah, if you can see the image here, it's the Copilot is fetching whenever someone is asking, the user is asking for some information.
Yeah, this
So
point
Copilot
one.
goes to Microsoft Graphs or the other third-party connectors, fetches the information and go back to Copilot, and Copilot send it to the LLM, from
Yep.
where it transforms and send back to the application. Either you are going to generate a file or just the inline response. You just generate it accordingly. So that picture actually demonstrates how the Copilot is working.
Yeah.
Fetching information within
Through
Microsoft,
those
it using
connectors.
Microsoft Graph and then connectors for the data source. The LLM basically transforms the code as all the information and submits it to you.
Okay.
It comes
Okay.
back in that natural language response.
Yeah, the first and second and then third. All right. Okay. That's more. Yeah, that's good to know. All right. Okay.
I'll stop sharing that one.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Any more question? Any more topic, Adnan? Or Daniel?
I suppose just to point out the differences in Copilot, you've got a
Yep.
few different Copilots floating around at the moment. You've got Copilot, which was the Bing Copilot, which is the free and accessible to everyone.
Yeah.
Then you've got the paid version one, which is essentially the equivalent to the Pro version. And then you've now got the big one, which everyone was waiting for and wants, is Copilot for Microsoft 365, which is let's connect to your email, let's collect SharePoint, and all various other bits and pieces. You've also got various other co-pilots, such as the GitHub co-pilots, the cybersecurity co-pilots, the sales co-pilots, and now you can also have as many co-pilots as you want, because we can create as many as we want. And I'm sure there's ones that I've left out. There's the Dynamics one as well. There's the one which is, I don't know which one it is, but the one in Paint. I don't know which one it's using technically. I think it's probably using the freebie one. But I just want to make sure on that, but just make sure it's not another one. So that's just something to keep in mind, that there are a few of these co-pilots and they aren't unified at the moment. And there's probably the biggest reason for that is where they're grounded. Grounded is essentially where the LLMs draw their knowledge and their information from. And your 365 one wants to draw it from your documents, your emails, where the public free one just draws it from Bing.
And then just a question from you and Shakir. How is the Copilot adoption, Copilot or ChatGPT adoption at your end? Even if we talk about Bing in your surrounding.
For me, I was doing a presentation on Microsoft Forms to a whole bunch of doctors, and they were putting into ChatGPT, give me good questions for the forms. So
Exactly.
it is
That's
being
side.
adopted like a wildfire.
Yes.
And that's just ChatGPT, the Gen AI text. That that blew my mind. I'm like, yeah, cool, we'll create some forms,
True,
feedback
true,
forms for
true.
patients, and they're like, give me 10 questions, and I was just walking around the room assisting. So that was kind of cool. CoPilot, yeah, we've seen a bit of a lag with CoPilot in Adelaide. We don't have a whole bunch of companies that want to spend that 300 minimum license. But now that has been removed, we are seeing pretty much go hammers. That's CoPilot for 365. CoPilot, Bing Chat, I'm seeing that less than ChatGPT, to be honest. I'm seeing everyone got into ChatGPT. They got in early. Bing Chat, it's not Google for starters, unfortunately, and Google everyone sort of uses rather than Bing, unfortunately, in that sense.
Yeah.
So we're seeing those are sort of some of the factors why I'm seeing that ChatGPT is sort of going over the free Copilot. But for the Copilot for 365, that's really going off now.
Yeah, even the thing is that because the Copilot itself is quite a new name that everyone knows, like the entire world knows ChatGPT. So even if you, as Daniel was saying, the doctor is using it, even like the student are using it. So everyone is using it, and then they know that how the Copilot works. And if you just ask, and like even if you hear some podcasts, like I was discussing with Daniel that sorry, I was just discussing with Adnan that I was viewing one podcast where a film director, he was saying that now I'm using ChatGPT for my film plot or writing the scripts as well, like if for one season or two season. So he's writing the scripts, and even the ChatGPT providing it what would be the sequence, like if there's a movie, let's suppose that there's a movie of Interstellar. So if you want to ask if you ask them what will be the prequel of the Interstellar and what would be the sequel of the Interstellars, and then it will provide you a whole kind of like the paragraph of the whole plot that okay, this will happen in the Interstellar, so that would be the sequel, and then if it this and the prequel would be like this way. So like everyone has touched on the Chat GPT. It's just not like IT guys is going and then they are selling that product. The product is already there, everyone is using it. So that's a very plus point. Now how the Copilot will comes and join the Chat GPT, it's a different thing. And then and the yeah, carry on. Yeah,
So
Adnan,
I
what you're
just want
saying,
to
sorry.
continue your thing. I just remember the funny incident from yesterday. My son came to my room and he was just looking at. He have seen that Copilot or ChatGPT was open on one of the browsers. So he just said, "Why you're still using this? Why don't you use Bing? It's very helpful because you don't need to sign in. The first and just go and you can also create images." And he told me that I wasn't aware that I know that we can create the images using Del 3, but I was not aware that we can also modify those. He's shown me that it's very easy. Click on this, customize it, and it will take you to the Microsoft Designer. From there, you can change everything. You can add text. I asked him, "Have you used it?" He's in sixth grade right now, and I asked him, "Have you used it?" He said, "I'm using it on my all presentation in Canva. Either I make it in Canva or you make it on on using it and using it there." I was just looking at that we are learning things, but they are not learning. They are just adopting the change.
Yeah.
So in future, they will not think that this is a new thing. or this is something to learn. They just adopted that how to use it. So I was just
This
got
is where
surprised
our training research is really sort of highlighted, because
yeah,
we're like you said, we're not training people to use it. They're just adopting it. They're just using it. It's just becoming
That's
part
right.
of the norm.
yeah,
Yeah, exactly. It just goes up. It just they go and they're using it. That's it. Like
Yeah.
they don't need any training. That's it.
I mean,
yeah.
the
This is
training
the
you
new
want
norm now.
with ChatGPT is, let's be honest. I mean, it's not a huge amount in terms of the average user. The training you need is how to log in, how to type, and you can start using it. And you
That's it.
get results. What does this mean? What
That's
can you
it.
explain this? Can you explain the storyline of Interstellar? It can do all of that just by asking it, and that's just how you don't need training. Now, if you want to take it to the next level using APIs and really
Yes.
prompt engineering, of course, you want to take it to that level, you're going to need to learn and hone those skills. But for the average user, there was no training necessary. It's just adopted. It's just in
Yeah,
use.
It's a more than enough. I think like if you're just going in and asking a simple question with some variation and then you're asking some clarification as well within that same context, and it keeps giving you a fine result. So that's it, right?
Mm,
and one
correct.
more thing. My son also showed me that the Copilot icon on his Windows. That, I just click on it and I can start discussing with it. So he was quite, because we have Alexa at home on configured, so they are quite used to of discussing things
Yeah.
with the bots.
But we're
Mm,
not we're not used to the whole voice to text. We're not. We're the younger generation is with Alexa and what was the other one? I forget what the other one was called, but yeah, Alexa. Um, it's just natural. I mean, my kids got the Mac laptops. They search by saying, "I
Yeah,
want to search for X. What's the time? Or what's the weather?" They don't type it. They say it.
yeah, they
that's
don't
it.
type it.
Yeah,
They don't want to
exactly.
write anything.
Exactly,
Our
exactly.
generation, we used to type.
We are the last generation who using the keyboard.
Yeah. But I mean, that's
Yeah.
just where, I mean, generative AI as a whole has just been adopted. I mean, it was just literally overnight. I
Yeah,
mean, there was one day there was no Chat GPT, and then
Mm.
there was a day there was Chat GPT, and the world changed forever. Now, Copilot certainly is an extension of that, but it wasn't the trigger point. The trigger point was Chat GPT, in my opinion.
agree,
That
totally
took
agree.
it mainstream.
So now my question to Daniel, that how relevant is the content writing now after with Copilot? Like let's suppose that there's a content writer within an organization, okay, like the
Hmm.
HR guy. He
Yep.
has to like type in, and they are like companies paying
Write
the
a
HR
newsline.
guy, right, yeah, paying the HR guy to like populate the SharePoint site, like the homepage,
Hmm. Hmm.
internal page. That's his daily routine. He's been paid off for that activity. Now the
Hmm.
chat GPT is there. So how you will see like this skill will vanish, or it will improve, or it will die down,
No,
it will be minimized.
this is the whole. Is AI going to replace my job? Um,
Yeah.
correct. No, it will. I mean,
even
I
even
seen
even
something
even
today.
like as we are seeing the co-pilot, like just like now what our vision is co-pilot. That's like we are asking a question, is just prompting us response. That's it. Like, so we
Yeah,
are not
we're at the
going into
start
the
of that. We're at the
images or
start
the
of the
video.
journey.
Yeah, we are at the very start. So now we can think about the content writing
Hmm.
for this scenario, right? So
I don't think so.
what you suggest? Yeah.
I relate this back to recently. I did Microsoft Learn, so I'm
Yep.
sort of doing that pretty good, and took my first AI generated learning
Course,
path
learning
course
part.
or
Yes.
module.
Yep.
Sorry,
Yep.
module. Relatively good, but there is a warning label to say this has been reviewed by a human. Um, reason why is because
That's right.
who trusts AI to
Exactly.
write content that's good at the moment?
Exactly.
I've
Exactly.
got another friend in Nepal who does translation,
Mm.
and he's not worried.
Yeah.
At the
Yeah.
moment, he's not worried. The AIs for the translation aren't there yet.
Mm.
He's mainly using it for context. Can you explain this word in this meaning? So more as a tool to help him. But I don't think, I mean, AI will replace some jobs, don't get me wrong. It will extend others. It will allow you to extend your reach. You know, for a network administrator, you'll be able to extend it, check all the security aspects, have your apps, have your actions running. I mean, we're only at the start of the AI journey now. So all we can really do is consume information out of AI. What we can't do is get AI to do an action. So, hey, format that computer. Hey, can you construct this scenario for me? Now, it's getting there, don't get me wrong.
Yep.
But where we're at the moment, we're really just at the start. We're exploring what's possible, what's not possible, and what really is workable. Like what makes sense, what doesn't make sense. You know, the whole examples of, hey, here are all my proposals over the last 10 years. Go through them, clean them up, generate me a brand new template, generate me the HR policy, the acceptable use policy, all these different ones. Yes, they will be able to do that. And hey, I've been using it for that sort of reasons as well. Generate me a table of contents for this sort of scenario document or this sort of policy. And it will, you know, it will quite happily go off and do it. But it lacks that detail. And I mean, I'm not sure if you guys have heard this, but the 80-20 rule, 80% of everything in the business is the same. It's the 20% that makes you different. And I think that's where we're going to have to make that distinction is 80% of the game is the same. It's with the AI.
Exactly.
Where the distinction comes is going to be that 20%, where you sort of make that mark that difference. The only people that really need to be afraid of AI are the people that won't be able to adapt to those scenarios of AI. We're quite a while away from Terminators, I think. I don't think they're coming anytime in the Microsoft roadmap. But at the same time, we are seeing a bit of fracturing of the AIs. We're seeing all these AIs with different purposes. There's hundreds of them now that are out that can, that can create different things. Different, Sora's brand new. You've got the ChatGPT. You've got the Azure AI stuff. You've got computer vision. You've got Facebook's one, you've got Google, you've got Microsoft. Like there's heaps now, and there won't be one to rule them all. That essentially would have been ChatGPT at the very early onset. But yeah, everyone freaked over it.
Yeah, I like disremember. Like I remember one thing happened like way back in 2012 or 13. I was working in Middle East, so like usually like how the government works that they send out this request for proposal in Arabic, like in Arabic. So the Arabic is the main language. Okay, so they send out like we need to implement SharePoint, and then how this been translated, because usually all of us like they or Arabic is not our native language, so how it has been translated, that the part is what happened, that's there was two sections. One is like implementing solution, and one is for the license. So what happened that what is mixing within the translation is the license. So what has happened that we send out the proposal, so it just goes through like because that's so low because it doesn't include those license, and whoever reads it and whoever approves it, so everything goes through, and then once this like the consultant who arrived at that place, and then he just started to install it. So he was asking, okay, yeah, I got this media file, I'm just starting to install this SharePoint now. Yeah, where's the keys? So they're saying, okay, what the key?
Okay.
Yeah, keys with you. So no. So there was kind of yeah, interesting scenario. Yeah, even at that time it was, yeah. It maybe happened that even if we ask something and we are so confident on the the chat GPT that it will translate everything, and it will just encapsulate everything and translate and merge and put the right information. It may be possible that it might have missed something like which is quite very important within the
One
lines.
thing I would be very interested in to know if AI sort of understands this as well. I was listening to a podcast this afternoon, and it's about languages. And in some Native American languages, I mean, don't quote me on this, and you'll have to check it all out. But you wouldn't say the bird pecked the girl because there's a ranking order that the girl is higher than a bird. So you would have to say the girl was pecked by the bird, so you have to put the girl first. And in those sort of contexts, and really, I mean, they used all these sort of words I'd never heard before in this sort of podcast about languages. Does AI understand that scenario? Because that's a very complicated, layered scenario. And that would be the difference. Could be, make or break the deal.
Exactly.
You've put the bird before the girl rather than the girl before the bird. Or the girl in front of the bird.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
to have those, I mean, eventually, I mean, if we subscribe to the theory that if this is day one, there's a day two where it gets better, and a day 4, and a day 10, and a day 5,000.
Yeah, exactly.
Where eventually it's going to get there. Where is it going though? We know it's going there, but we don't know where there is, so to speak, and how well that it will perform there. Certainly in the languages. I mean, I think for most modern languages, it will probably go all right because, we've got populations to be able to go in there, correct it, retrain it, re-update it for a lot of modern languages. For more so languages that are sort of minority languages, it can certainly be used in that sense, but it's going to be a lot harder to get those real contextual finer points because there's not as many people contributing, if that makes sense, to that sort of language pool.
Yeah, actually, it's creating the data available on the content. So how much language has the content available? It will generate that mature response in writing. Just like everything is in English, so English response is almost 100% correct.
Correct.
But if we talk about other languages, so when they get much more data on those languages, the response will automatically get we get an improved
definitely
record.
Improve. And it's a great way to improve and
just want to add here
record those
one thing.
languages.
Yeah, I just want to add here one thing while I was listening you guys. If you remember the movies which came in, the robots are taking over the world. That was like we will laugh on those. But now with ChatGPT, if the AI is making decisions by itself, then that could be possible now.
Well, there was that one where it didn't lie, but it tricked the humans with the capture and went off to that website, the vision impaired website. Now it says, can you help me with this capture? I'm vision impaired, which technically isn't a lie. A computer is vision impaired.
Yes.
But the whole thought process that it went through to get to that point, that was terrifying. Because now it's saying, well, I'm not lying. I am vision impaired. I'm telling the truth. Off we go.
Exactly.
So, how does that sort of go through? I mean,
Actually,
we've all seen.
AI will give him the learning that there are multiple ways to answer it because human use it.
Yep.
So it's a way. Lying is not anything. You can just say it.
Well, I mean, and this is where I suppose we sort of progress to, will keyboards exist in the future? Certainly in the current format. I mean, now that we're seeing more Alexa style things combined with more Chat GPT, is it really going to become necessary to have a keyboard in the future? Yes, to a degree to create some things, but maybe not.
Yeah,
maybe
but
not.
not in the recent future. Yeah, I think even like
I think that's a
5,
fair
10
way
years.
off.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. That's probably more than 50 years. Don't get me wrong. But once voice really hasn't had its time in the sun yet. And I think with AI, voice will start to see some sunlight. And that's going to be very interesting.
It will be even with the English itself, Daniel. Like if you even within Australia, so the variety of English, and if you goes to the outbacks in the Queensland, or if you goes to the Sydney urban English,
Yep.
so
Melbourne
it's
or
just
Adelaide's still different as well.
it's not different as well. Yeah, so even like the different, and if you combine the New Zealand as well, so like they are altogether different English, and then the contact itself is different, and then the slang is different. So one slang which is quite normal within the Sydney, it's quite be like very offensive in Auckland. I'm just giving an example.
Yep.
So even like the content itself is different. Like let's suppose that if there's a movie which is like there's a kids movie, which is basically for the Australian,
audience.
children or Australian
Yep.
audience, but it would be bit inappropriate for the other children, in the
Yeah,
UK.
so
It may be
the New Zealand audience. Yeah,
in the New Zealand, in the New Zealand audience as well. So the contact itself, and then the where the audience for that content, I think that would be matter as well. Yeah.
yeah. And this is where I suppose it sort of goes through where AI can it learn that stuff, and I think it can.
Mm.
And then it can apply that as well. You know, if you're in Adelaide, you want your language to be in the policy or procedures in this particular way because that's how generally people in Adelaide talk. I mean,
Yep.
rather than the whole global legalese dry language, you sort of start to
True.
tune it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that
Exactly.
way, you know, it can say, well, where's your locale, so to speak, when you interact with the AI.
No, you cannot say like to a farmer who are there in the outback and just say, you have to correct your English and you have to be
Yeah,
adopt the globalness. It cannot be done. Yeah.
no, it won't happen because that phone will end up in the bin.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
That's right. That's
it's
right.
especially in the outback. I mean, the outback's a whole different world than
Yeah, exactly.
suburbia Australia. It's a whole different world.
True.
Um,
That's right. Exactly. That's right. That's right. I think we reached to the we have crossed the time as well. Yeah. Anything and none from your side you want to add?
No, I'm good. It was a good chit chat with you, and thanks, Daniel, for your time at
no,
this
not a
time.
problem.
Yeah.
Yep, Daniel. Yeah, Daniel, from your side, anything like we haven't touched or we haven't asked from you, or you haven't, or you can't show us in the demo, like anything from your side.
Nothing on my side. I suppose I just want to give a quick shout out to the user group that's happening on Tuesday afternoon at
Cool,
3 p.m.
cool.
We are doing that in person, but we're also having that on Teams as well. So we've got the
Ah,
Microsoft room there and their system. So we'll be broadcasting on Teams.
fantastic, in person is very good. Yeah,
Yeah,
when you see the person, when you see the people in front of you, that's give you a different vibe.
no, it does. It's very much. I think we all had remote fatigue, to be honest. I
Yes,
mean, we were joining everything all throughout the hours of the day, throughout the hours of the night, morning, afternoon. There was so
true.
much available. It's good to be able to get out, have some pizza, have a drink, and sit down and talk with like-minded people, and sort of have that conversation about what are you doing and what about this, and answer those or ask those questions that you just can't
Mm,
ask in the remote environment.
exactly, exactly. All right. Thank you, Daniel. Thanks a lot.
Not a
Thanks
problem.
for
Thank you very much
your
for having me.
coming up in a short duration. Yeah, I've just informed you like for 2, 3 days before, and you showed up today. Yeah, that's really good. All right, guys. Thank you so much, and we will talk later. Cheers. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.